All right. No. Mm. So I'm still having some other issues, guys. All right, so I think our order is good now. I was having some order issues. Yeah, this is one of the things that happens when you're trying to do it live. Um, yeah, you run into problems like this. So shout out to the chats. We have Ghosted the Muskie, Pretty in Pink, and we have Curtis Moore, commenting early. Greetings to everyone. Shout out to you, Curtis, from the US. Oh, you made the party multiple times. That is very good. So today we're cooking up some pasta. The chat resoundingly said they wanted penny, so we're having penny pasta. We're having penny pasta today with some shrimp. So the water is on now. Getting that up to a boil, and then I'll be adding the pasta. Salted the water already and everything. Yeah, we're making a creamy shrimp pasta today. Just turn up and chill with us. We have any comments or questions you can drop in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer. So while our water is coming up to a boil, I will be prepping some aromatics to add to our pasta. It's a really simple dish, keeping it really simple today. So I have just a few stuff right here. So I have a bit of scallion, some onion, Scotch bonnet pepper, of course. And the base of our pasta it's going to be a creamy tomato pasta. Just a few aromatics. That's about it. So I'm just going to chop these up for now. And as soon as the water is up to a boil, I'll be adding the pasta to that. I'll get rid of the stem. You don't need that. I'm keeping it, just a couple julienne. So I really wanted shrimp with shell for this recipe. That likes a lot of onion. I might just use some of that. I really wanted shrimp with shell for this recipe, shells and head, because I could do a bit more with it. But for I could only get shrimp with tail, raw shrimp with tail. I had other shrimp, but just shrimp with tail. So that's what I'll be working with today. And I wanted to do something more with it, but this is fine. So I will be removing the tail and stuff, but I'm going to get my veg prep first. So I have garlic. I always say garlic can't too much. If I wanted a much more garlicky shrimp, I would add a bit more. Going for like 4 cloves. Maybe just 3. I'm eyeballing everything today, guys, so there's that. So I tried this pasta the other day and I really enjoyed it. Then I had shrimp with like whole shrimp, so I could really do a lot with the whole shrimp. I shelled the shrimp and took the head, make a quick stock, just a bit of water, and use that as the liquid in the pasta. So you can imagine how delicious that was. So it would be very different today. So, well, not very different because it's essentially the same recipe without the stock. I'm eyeballing everything. What I like to do with Scotch bonnet pepper, I like to use it last. I like to add it at the end, to get some of that fresh aroma and keep some of that fresh aroma going. So I like to keep the Scotch bonnet pepper last. I really control the heat. So that's going to the side for now. I just check the chat, guys. Someone is saying this looks awkward to watch off angle. Yeah, I think I'm coming into the shot a little bit. I'm impressed how much heat you can take over there. Had a good habanero and Carolina Reaper this year. Started training my heat tolerance. Okay. Oh, Miss Johnson is saying I should keep the tail. Okay, I'll do that, Miss Johnson. Where are the shrimp from? So I think these are rainforest seafood. I'm not sure where rainforest source their shrimp. I don't think it's all like Jamaican waters because they are like a major. So I'm not exactly sure where rainforest source their shrimp. I don't really want to guess. So yeah. I think we should check in back on the. I think we should check in back on the water. It's probably boiling by now. Yeah, boiling away. I'm just going to add the penne pasta. I'm going to cook these al dente. Don't want to overcook our pasta. I want a nice bite on them. So cooking them al dente should take just a few minutes. So while that's going, I'll get back into the prepping. We still have our tomatoes to dice. So these tomatoes are, they aren't so great. So this recipe is a nice way to use these up in my fridge for a while. A lot of them are overripe, but some nice plummy tomatoes that we have a nice thick flesh. These are really great for making sauce. I'm just going to dice them really small, dice them really small and really cook them down to, cook off a lot of that water and get to the savory tomato flavor. So this recipe is a lot more about, technique and making the most of each ingredient. Just removing the little bit of stems, a little dark bits. So it will be more of a like creamy tomato sauce. Yeah, the board is a bit too crowded for. And this, we can just throw all of this in one thing, because all of this will be going in the pot at the same time. Might just save a little bit of that onion. That's really a lot of onion. And this, I'm just going to dice them. This is actually a lot of tomato, but when we cook it down, it will get to, we get to that point where it won't look so much, it won't be so much, so we'll just cook off, because tomato is mostly water. So we'll be cooking off a lot of that water, getting it down to kind of like a paste, really savory. So that will be the base for the base for this base for the sauce. So it looks like a lot. I really want this to be, just as tomatoey as it is creamy. So that should do the trick. If I don't use these tomatoes today, I'm not sure when I'll use them again. So I'll just go ahead and use them up without having them all go to waste or getting spoiled, or yeah. So you might hear a bike or a truck or a car pass, and you might see it in the background. I live really close to the road, so you might be seeing, some vehicles pass or hear some noise or something. So, it's not really quiet where I live. It's close to the road, so I have a full view of the road. So you might see some happening, some going on. You can see that some of these are really overripe. A waxy tomato skin. Usually if you're using tomato skin for like a sauce or something, you would remove these, but that's really fine. It's not a big bother. You could blanch them and get rid of the skin, but that's not a big deal. Alright, so I'm just going to take a second to, check our pasta. I'd rather have them undercooked than overcooked. Yeah, these are looking good. Maybe another minute and we can take them out. What I typically don't cool down pasta like with water, because that removes a bit of the flavor and a bit of that starchiness that forms on the outside, the gel starch that forms on the outside. So running pasta under water usually gets rid of that. That's really good for making the sauce. Really good for making a thick luscious sauce, and it gives it a fuller bite, a fuller flavor. So what I typically like to do is undershoot the pasta a bit, and then let it cool on its own, if it cools at all, and then I'll have a really delicious pasta to add, because this will continue cooking in the sauce and all of that. So undershoot this a bit and really plan for later when I have to, with all the liquids later. That should cook it and get it to a point where it still has a bite, still tender and delicious. Still have a bite, but I say tender, but there's still a bite, it's still delicious, and it's cooked perfectly. So that's the goal right now. So I think I have a second. I can just look in the chat, see what's happening. So someone is asking if the shrimp shells are edible only when fried. A lot of people actually enjoy, like with pepper shrimp and that kind of thing. A lot of people actually throw up the shells. It's kind of annoying for some people, and if I give them shrimp with shell, that would probably piss them off. But Jamaicans really enjoy the shrimp shells. There's a lot of flavor in there. Would be cool to also see the shopping. Yeah, that would be really really cool. Shopping sometimes can be a hassle, but maybe I'll make a video about that one day. Oh, neat. That's a good idea. Go see. Having the shopping list in advance. So that's a good idea. But this is really stuff that in my fridge that I want to use up. That I don't want anything to go to waste. So it's really stuff in my fridge like that. So those tomatoes, I had some recipes planned that I didn't get around to. So I'm just using them up now. Haven't seen any other creators do a cooking live stream. Good idea. Yeah, I think there are a few, but it's not really popular. The cooking live stream, the logistics of it and everything is really difficult. So yeah, so setting up a cooking live stream, because cooking by itself is a lot of planning and a lot of preparation, and then to do a live stream and handle the technical issues behind that. That's not exactly the easiest thing to do. So I guess that's why creators avoid it. You might have cooking live stream like a simple setup like on TikTok, where you just pull out your phone and you set it up and you just cook one camera angle, that kind of thing. The logistics of prepping and cooking and having multiple cameras is not exactly the easiest thing, but yeah, I really wanted to do something different. Now that I'm looking at this is a lot of tomato. Still have a little bit right here. I'll definitely do something with this maybe later. So this is a lot of tomato. I was thinking it would work, and it probably would, but the spirits are telling me to work with this. So there we go. That's a tomato for the recipe, and we'll just carry on. So that's it. That's going to be the base for the sauce. Really simple, really quick, nice tomato sauce. So I'm going to check back on the pasta, and then we'll move on to the shrimp. So the pasta that pasta is ready. It's still al dente. I might have overshot it a bit for what I wanted, but I'm just going to remove these right now and kill that heat. Then I'll check the salt level to see how we're doing, because I added a lot of salt, and if you notice, not really any water left, so that salt is really concentrated in the pasta. Might be delicious, or it might be salty. I would have to check to find out. Then I can just adjust the salt accordingly moving forward. I still have the shrimp to add, so I'll just omit the shrimp. Nice and firm. Yeah, that's a bit salty. So what I wanted to do was actually let these cool as is, but I'll have to run these under some I have to run these under some water. So you know, my original plan is kind of ruined, but I think we'll do. You know, we can still make it work. I don't want to cook these as is, really salty. So I'll run these under some water and to get rid of some of that excess salt, and then, you know, move on to the shrimp. All right, so you know, I just did a little rinse. It's a lot less salty now. That's good. So I'll let these chill for a bit while we work on the shrimp. So it's shrimp with tail, and as you guys said, I should, you know, use the shrimp, keep the tail. So these are frozen. I think I'm going to use about half of this. What do you guys think? How much should I use? So while I decide, I'm just going to read a couple chats. Oh, guys are telling me what to do with the tomato. Tomato salad, some onions, salt, oil. Yeah, that's a good idea. They're not the freshest tomato though, so I really like to cook tomato that are a bit more on the overripe side. So sorry, there's that. Not the freshest tomato. Shout out to you, Joanna Collins, from St. Kitts. Big shout out to you. What heavy cream do you use in your recipes? It's really what's available at the. It's really what's available at the store. But I'll just show you real quick what I have what I'm going to use today. Well, it's actually whipping cream. This is Anchor whipping cream. It's it's a lot similar. It's not a big deal. It's the same effect. Whipping cream, cooking cream, heavy cream. They are not the same thing, but I use them interchangeably with recipes sometimes because it's really creamy. The creaminess is essentially what I'm going for, so I might use them interchangeably. I don't always get heavy cream or get cooking cream. So it's really whatever is available in my supermarket, and I work with whatever. So there's that. So that was a little Tetra Pak that I had recently, and I actually had this in the fridge for. I didn't purchase this for, you know, to use with this recipe. Zachary Graham, wagwan, my man. Respect for all informative videos. Videos you make. Thank you. Yeah, bless up, Zachary. Big thanks to you. C Walda, shout out to you from Brighton, UK. We have Gose from Germany. All right. Oh, all of it for the shrimp. Perfect. Lancelot Top, big up Westmoreland. I'm from Westmoreland to Lancelot, so shout out to you. All right, so let's get back to the shrimp. So I'm getting all of it. That's a lot of shrimp. That's a lot of shrimp. To the amount of pasta, but I think we can make it work. So we have a couple of the tails falling off. Yeah. Guess I should leave them. So for the shrimp, these are frozen. I'm just going to, add a bit of water or a lot of water. It's going to thaw them out really quick, and a splash of vinegar to kind of cut any of that rawness that seafood typically has, just a bit. I'm going to give those a quick second. Well, when it comes down to food service, typically they recommend that you don't. This is not something that you should do. Let your food sit in water like this. This is essentially stagnant water. So to thaw food, you want to have it under running water. Yeah, I don't really, it's a home cooked thing, so I don't really follow everything there is. So there's that. I'm going to show you what I will be seasoning up this with. So for the shrimp, I'm going to use a bit of Cajun season. So this is a local Cajun season from here goes a bite. This is a local season from Island Spice. I really like Island Spice because it's a lot of all natural stuff. It's mostly dehydrated stuff. So this just have salt, sugar, and those are essentially preservatives. And pimento and a couple dehydrated spices that I really enjoy. I really enjoy Island Spice. Really good season. Really clean. Cut and dry. And then I have a bit of Old Bay season, really great with seafood. I have a little left. A little goes a far way, but a bit of Old Bay, a little Cajun, and black pepper. Typically I would season this with salt, but both these have salt, and the pasta is a bit salty already. So this is just me adjusting for the salt. So yeah, and during all of that time I was talking, these are mostly thawed out, so I'll just remove the water. Alright, so we are back. So what I like to do with my shrimp is I like to remove a lot of that excess water, that excess liquid. So, a bit of paper towel. So that's really going to help the season to adhere, and really season the shrimp. Instead of all of the season sitting in a puddle of water at the bottom of our bowl. And we get a lot more flavor when I'm going to remove some of these. I'm just going to keep the ones that are already on the shrimp. So yeah, we get a lot of flavor with We get a lot of flavor with when we dry our stuff a bit, and we get a good saute on them. You don't have to go crazy, just a little bit. Then get all the liquid out of our bowl. Then just add these back. Alright, so what I typically do, and I'm just going to eyeball the season for this. A little bit of black pepper. Be like 2 pinch of black pepper. And we have our Old Bay. Old Bay is really potent, so I don't like to, overdo it. It can be overpowering. I learned that recently with, cooking a lot of seafood with Old Bay. So I like to keep, just a little sprinkle. Occasion I can do a lot more with, but I'm keeping it conservative, just the same, about a tablespoon. And that's it. Skipping the salt, we have a lot of salt in our, maybe a little bit more black pepper. That's fine. We have a lot of salt in our pasta already, so the pasta will really carry this dish. This is fine even without salt. If I was just cooking this as is, dropping the salt would still be, still be fine, even without the pasta. So just managing the salt levels, and that's really it for our pasta. I'm just going to take a quick second and set up my camera over by the stove so we can actually see what's, I don't have to be moving around, because I'm using my phone my main camera and my webcam. So it's a 3-camera setup. So I have to, be utilizing a lot of them. So I'm just going to set up the camera. So 1 quick second. So this is how it typically is when I'm filming. I move the camera around a lot, just to give a variety of camera angles, to make videos a bit more interesting. Doing a bit more, give it a bit more effort. It's actually a lot of moving around and that kind of thing, but yeah, it makes for a more interesting video. I'm going to get this on the fire. Move this for a better view, maybe a better zoom. Yeah, so making YouTube videos is, moving around the camera a lot. Just going to let that dehydrate and then add a quick splash of oil to saute our shrimps. Shrimp are looking really nice. So the thing with my stove, it doesn't get that hot that quick, and you know that's kind of the downside. I have a wok burner that I'll show you in a second, where you know when I need really high heat, I actually get the wok burner and use that instead. So this work for everyday cooking, but if I'm making something like fried rice or noodles, um, or something that you need really high heat and you need to get there quick, I like to use my wok burner. So it's actually ideal for sauteing shrimp. Shrimp really don't take a lot of time to cook. So sauteing them and getting a nice sear on the outside, that's a lot of flavor. So it's really worth actually having a really good burner to get you there. A really good pot. This is probably not my best pot for this. It doesn't handle heat that well. So as I can see, we're having a bit of coloring around the edge. So the heat is really highest there. But it works. I'm just going to add these in. I'm really going to try to undercook these, because when we add them back to the pasta and that kind of thing, we still have a bit of carryover cooking. So I'm really trying to develop some flavors here. And some of that delicious. That right there is actually a good thing. That's what we want. Maybe another minute and we can just remove them and that's it. We're getting a container too. That's our shrimp container. And that's actually it. I'm going to kill the fire for now and add these to our bowl. These are a bit undercooked but nice and juicy. They'll cook the rest of the way. A lot of that burnt bit in the bottom is giving us a bit of flavor. Some of the shrimp juice is giving us a bit of flavor. So that's the hope with these. We'll add that back on. We want our heat again. And what I'll do is add another little splash of oil. Get it up back to temperature. And now we're just making the sauce. I'm going to grab our aromatics. I'm starting with our onion and stuff, onion and garlic. Those have a lower water content, so they should saute really nice, and then the tomato will take a bit of time. So we want to develop the flavors on these before we add the tomato. So that way we get the sauteed flavors from these, and then the tomato will come in and slowly cook down, and all of that meld, and we get some good flavors going on. So what I typically do is, leave this on low, let it do its thing. Leave it on low, so I don't actually burn anything. That's if I'm not, paying attention to it, or I'm cooking a lot of other stuff in the kitchen. Leaving this on low is totally fine. But you know, as long as I'm over it, I'll just have it on high to really saute all of that off. So what I'm looking for is a little bit of browning. I'm sweating these and browning them a bit just to develop some flavor. Yeah, don't have to be crazy brown. So that was, you know, some chopped garlic, onion, and a bit of scallion. And I think now is a good time, you know, we can add the tomatoes now. Get that really nice tomato flavor. So this is a lot of tomatoes now, but that will reduce as the liquid cooks off, because it's mostly water anyways. So yeah, that's it. You know, I'll take a second to read you guys' chat and then get back to it. All right, the kitchen is really heating up. Kitchen is getting very hot. Oh, I left the towel there. So Chantel Ward is saying, I don't want to be weird or anything, but I really love your voice. It's very soothing to listen to. I love watching your recipes as well. Tried the beef stew, it was phenomenal. I love Jamaican food. Shout out to you, Chantel. I don't think that's really weird, but you know, shout out to you. Jamaican food is honestly great. I'm not saying that because of course I'm biased. I'm Jamaican, but it's really great food. Oh, Miss Johnson is saying that's my UE classmate, so that would be Joanna. So Joanna and Miss Johnson went to, you know, they went to UE together. C. Walder, yes, this is easily my favorite Jamaican cooking channel. Clear, informative, and dry time is a scam. Of course, dry time is a scam. Shout out to you, C. Walder. Really gotta watch the time episode. I don't know why it's a scam yet, or if it counts if you dehydrate it yourself. Alright, we ship X Caribbean shipping. Someone is saying they don't eat shrimp, but they like the process, so they'll use fish strips instead. I guess that could work. Oh, Chantel is saying Chantel is saying she believes that fresh thyme is really the best. Yes, fresh thyme is the best. There are dry thyme can be used, but I don't really enjoy. I rather not use dry thyme. I don't enjoy the flavor profile as much. You could definitely make it work. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but fresh thyme, yeah, fresh thyme is where it's at. Those fresh aromatic, those, you know, greener, fresher flavors, they really add something to your food that if it's dry thyme, you can probably do without. So that's how I feel. I wouldn't buy dry thyme any at all. Oh, okay. Audio issues. I might have to change my microphone soon. The last time my battery died when I was doing a live stream, and it was, you know, out for a little while before I realized. I have to walk in front of my camera, just, you know, checking on this. So we have this cooking down nicely. See still on high heat, or medium, not medium high. So this is the part that takes a little while. I'm really not regretting not using all of the, you know, I'm actually glad I didn't use all of the tomatoes, because this is quite a bit. So this might take a little while, just letting it cook all the way down. If this was one of my regular videos, this would happen in like maybe a few seconds, because I would be editing the hell out of it. You know, just to, you know, keep it clean and keep it clear. So yeah, as this reduces, I'll reduce the flame with it, so we don't have any burning. You know, that nice tomato flavor. All right, so okay. So yeah, it's kind of awkward to walk in front of the camera and you know, move it around. It's not typically what it's kind of awkward. But let's talk about what I'm working on and what's coming up. So I'm working on a struggle food video. So that's Jamaican struggle food. So those stuff that you grow up, those things that you grow up, that those were the struggle food. Everyone knows what struggle food is. So I'm working on a more like a compilation video where I cover a bit of struggle food that I grew up with. So that's bread and pear, or avocado, bull and pear. Sugar dumpling was a struggle food for me. A lot of other stuff, dumpling and butter, rice and butter. For some people it was rice, steamed rice and sugar. I remember trying that once, but that was that I didn't really enjoy that. So we also have bully beef, tin mackerel, some tin food like sardine, that kind of thing. Bread is a big one. So I will be working on I'm currently working on struggle food. I have a couple more shoots and that kind of thing, but yeah. And the thing with struggle food is a lot of the things that we consider struggle food growing up are not really struggle food today. We have stuff like, I recently did a barefoot rice and peas, and at one point stuff like pig's tail and corned beef, those were considered struggle food. Those are more expensive than like fresh protein today. So a lot of that isn't really struggle food. Growing up, saltfish was a big struggle food. Not so much today. Because of bully beef, you could get a pound you could get a pound of chicken or a pound of something for because of a tin of bully beef. So it's not exactly struggle food now. We just have it because we grew up and we enjoy it. Looks like I'm burning up the. Oh, we have a lot of burning, guys. So we have a simple fix for this. So typically when we burn something, we just reduce the heat and change the pot. As long as it's not burnt too bad, we can do that. This also could use a bit more. Not reduce the heat, turn off the heat, change the pot. This also could use a splash more oil. So yeah, this happens, you know, this happens more than more than a lot of chefs like to admit. You know, sometimes I step away for a second and you come back and it's burnt. So, you know, earlier I said that I would reduce the heat as this reduces. Should I reduce the heat a bit more earlier? And there we are again, live again. Let me just readjust this. And that's really it. That I really want this to go down a bit more. Typically when we have a bit of burning, that's good, but that's not really flavor. That's going to make our food taste a bit, you know, a bit off. But I catch it in time, so that's good. Just get this up back to temperature and, you know, reduce it a bit. And we're almost ready. Just maybe another minute or two. Reduce the heat down, and you know, that's it for now. So someone is asking if I would make a video on pig foot sauce. Yeah, I really wanted to make. I had a video plan that, you know, didn't really pan out on sauce. It's something that I find interesting in terms of, you know, it's like Caribbean food. It's really different. It's a cold soup. So I really want to give that a shot. It looks very interesting. I didn't grow up, you know, learning about sauce or knowing anything about sauce really. So yeah, I'm really curious to check that out. So I'll probably make a video in the future. I'll add it to the list. I have a list of videos that, a really long list of videos that are requested and that I want to make. So, you know, I'll add it to the list if it's not there already. So I'll check that out. Chantel is saying she's been wanting to make ackee and saltfish for the first time, but ackee alone is like $10 where I'm at, and saltfish even more so. Yeah, that's one of the good things about living in Jamaica. At least for me, or growing up, maybe a lot of the struggle food that we had growing up were not actually struggle food, but I live on a fairly large property and we have a lot of fruit trees, so ackee, you know, ackee was always free. It's only in my adult life that I actually started buying ackee. So that was always free for me because I had a lot of ackee tree. A lot of breadfruit tree. My family was, you know, we do farming a lot, so I had a lot of fresh. Somebody's that's flavor. That's, yeah. That might be flavor, but I'm not going to risk it. Oh, wow. The seawater I saying, he said doing the washing up. So if he burns it, you know, drop in some beer and scrape it up, and that could work. But you know, I really don't. If I have any doubt, I don't like to risk it. I really don't like to risk risk having a dish being ruined if it's too burnt. And sometimes I can taste it. That's, you know, a plan for this, so the pot was right there. So we have a lot of flavor still going on. I'm just going to check in now, and I think we can add our shrimp and heavy cream and try and wrap this dish up. Yeah, it's almost there, and it's smelling good already. That's something I haven't talked about. Smelling really good. So yeah, let's get it done. Oh, that right there is flavor. I think this is ready now, so going to grab the cream from the fridge and add it. Alright, so we have our heavy cream I just cut open. Our whipping cream, cooking cream. So usually for a creamy pasta like this, you use a bit of roux to thicken the. Let me just get the heat back up. Use a bit of roux to thicken this, but as you can see, that's a lot of body right there just from the tomatoes. So we don't need any more thickening. Yeah, and this is a lot thicker than I was. This is a lot thicker than I was expecting, but this should give us really juicy pasta. I think I might have some other pasta water, but that's a bit salty. So let's see how that goes. Typically add a bit of pasta water to keep the flavors going, but this should be good. Voila. Now we can add back our shrimp right now. And we have a little bit of juices from the shrimp that's going to help thin out the sauce a bit. And pasta goes in. That's really quick, really simple. Might have to add a bit of water, but let's see how it goes. So how does that look, guys? It's not as juicy as I was going for, but let's give it a quick second. All right. I think I want to add a bit of butter to this. That's going to up the richness a lot more. The tomatoes are a bit acidic, so it won't be, crazy rich. Have a lot of balance going. That actually looks very nice. Have a look at that. Yup, that is it. Creamy, luscious pasta. I have one more thing that I want to, might not add it to this, but I might have it on the side, and I'll get into that in a second. But this is looking really nice. This is looking very nice. The heat is on low right now. Ooh, and that smells good. So what I really need to do right now is to do a quick taste test to see, all the progress that we made. I'm just going to grab some of that pasta and a bit of the shrimp just to make sure everything is on track. because you know it might look good, but it might not taste how it looks. Wow, that is good, and the shrimps are, that is really good. We just that is really good. Shrimp is really juicy. Earlier I mentioned adding hot pepper at the end. I almost forgot the hot pepper, but I'm just going to chop it up real quick. Just going to chop it up real quick and add the hot pepper. That could simmer a bit more just to get the flavors melded together. But it's actually really good. Very good. So for my hot pepper, we like to add it in increments. These are some Scotch bonnets to just chop up. So this is a lot of Scotch bonnet. I'm not exactly sure how hot it is. These are a bit on the younger side, and when they're on the younger side, they don't, you know, they're not always as hot. Has a lot of flavor. I can actually smell it. So what I like to do is add it in increments. So I'm going to start with that for now, and you know, see how that goes. Spicy shrimp pasta, I really don't mind the spice. I still need to eat it and enjoy it, so I'm going to start with that little bit. So adding the pepper at the end, you know, it keeps a lot of the aromatic flavors that you lose when you cook things a bit longer. So we get more of that fresh Scotchy flavor, similar to, you know, how we use fresh thyme, because dry thyme is a scam. Adding it at the end keeps a lot of that freshness, aromatic freshness, and that's, you know, that taste. That's what we want. Let me give it another taste. Yeah, these peppers are not so hot, so I think I can add a bit more. But I'm really getting the flavor, not much of the heat, but this is really good. Even though it's not a big Jamaican thing, I like to finish my pasta with a bit of herbs. Oh, this is good. That's done. I like to finish my pasta with a bit of herbs. So that maybe be some basil or some parsley. And I actually have basil outside. So I actually have basil outside, so I'm going to get a bit of it. Let me just check the chats real quick first. What you guys saying, you're hungry and you're coming. Made some French fries in the meantime with currywurst. Shout out to you, Seawalla. Yeah, this is a lot. I think I can feed all of you guys with this. This is a lot of food. Sausage drained in curry, ketchup seasoned with Grey Smile curry. I never actually had that, but that sounds like struggle food. It sounds good. Never had currywurst before. Sounds delicious. Yeah, that sounds like something I would have, you know, growing up. Me, I'm in the kitchen making some, what's that? Pad see because watching this made me need something delicious to eat. Oh, Okay, so it's fast food, the currywurst. Mm. Oh. Ooh, all right. So I'm going to grab the I'm going to grab the basil outside real quick. And the sun is really hot right now, so a lot of my plants are kind of wilted. But you know, I'll show you the herbs garden. It's a bit rundown since um it's a bit rundown since the last time I showed it. So I have some black opal basil or purple basil, bit of rosemary. Just planted these the other day. I don't really have a lot of luck with rosemary, but those are doing great. So this would work perfect with our pasta. Just going to bring a bit inside and you know what. Yeah, this is it. So I'm going to set up back my camera. I'll do a quick camera setup back to where it was before. I have a lot of washing up to do when you know when we finish with this live. Crazy amount of wash up. And this is what you know. This is almost the process every video that I shoot. I do this for almost every video that I shoot. Where the behind the scenes work is kind of do a lot of behind the scenes work. So it's not just simply you know cooking on camera. Most of the work, cooking is probably the quickest thing that I do on cam. Cooking is probably the quickest part of the process. Sorry, but yeah, this is a lot of fun though. So let's finally give this a taste test. Look at that. Really good. It's almost the same as the thumbnail. That pasta in the in the thumbnail isn't actually mine. Just a stock image, but yeah, that's really good. And if I wasn't shooting, this would be a much quicker process. So there's that. As for the basil, just going to put a couple leaves on. I don't mind basil. Some people like to chop them and that kind of thing. A couple leaves on, and that's it. Quick, easy, and you know this is something that you would get in a restaurant and probably pay top dollar for it. But this looks delicious. That's a really big bite. just having the shells and everything, I don't mind that. You know, there's a lot of flavor in there. Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that is it. That is it. That's really good. That's really good. So you know, added a bit, sorry, I added quite a bit of cream. But it still doesn't taste, you know, it doesn't taste heavy and creamy. It's really rich. Tomato, the acidity from the tomato balances it out. Yeah, it's really good, really satisfying. You know, this is something you feel like you can have a lot of it, but that's that's excellent. Um, yeah, this is it. Hmm. And the pasta, nice. Pasta is a nice bite, not overcooked. You can see that, not overcooked or anything like that. Yeah, this is good. And really simple too. Just a few ingredients and we made it happen. Really simple, really straightforward. Alright, let me just look at a couple of you guys' chats. Chantel Ward is saying you said it right, by the way. Pads you, it's a Thai stir fry uh with what's that, Guyan, Chinese broccoli and a sweet soy sauce and some garlic and eggs. You season it with chili vinegar on top. It's so good. Well, that sounds good. One of my favorite dishes actually pad thai. I really enjoy pad thai. So, and I really enjoy a lot of Thai dishes. You know, it's really clean flavors, quick. I used to work in an Asian restaurant where I did quite a bit of Thai food, so that was very enjoyable. Having Thai, really enjoyable. Um, I really like the Thai soup, Thai tom kha. That's something I enjoy a lot. I have Miss Feed and Teach giving it a shot. um, See what I saying, his neighbor has a gigantic rosemary bush in her garden that she lets me raid. I take her some fresh coriander from her windowsill. Yeah. I always see people with giant rosemary bushes, but I always see people with giant rosemary bushes, but I've never gotten any rosemary to that point. They're always just, you know, small shrubs, and sometimes they die off and things like that. Hmm. So pad thai is good. Pad keema is the best in my opinion. Your base would be right at home in that dish. It's also salty sweet, but with a huge hit of garlic and chilies. It's meant to be spicy. Um, yeah, and that's one of the things I love about a lot of Asian food is that the balance. You know, one of the key focus is that the balance all the balance a lot of those stronger flavor profiles and yeah, I really like that sweet, salty, tangy, garlicky, spicy kind of vibe. Like, you know, I really love how Asian cuisine plays with those. So yeah, that's great. Um, yeah, so I think that's it, guys. This was really good. Um, I really hope you guys enjoyed yourself. I really enjoyed this live. I really enjoy, you know, cooking and that kind of thing. So I think that's it from me. The live will be up so anyone can rewatch it and that kind of thing. I might give it a rewatch. It's not 3 hours like the last time. The last time I did live, I went for 3+ hours. You know, just chatting and vibing. This was good. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You know, those people who support me. Patreon is actually free, by the way. You don't have to pay any money. If you want to, that's fine. Patreon is totally free. Um, So yeah, you can check that out if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Give the live a like. Sorry, give the live a like. I really that really helps with the video. Or helps others to see it, and share it if someone is interested. But that's really it from me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and yeah, um, bless up. Wow, me I sweat. 1 hour 23.